Hello, good morning. How are you? It's Destination Uri. You're welcome back to the programme. I'm Rowan Hand, the morning programme. Our usual excellence of the economy. Feargal McCormack, how are you?
Good to be back again, Rowan.
It's nice to see you. I'm doing very well, I think, and life is good. Summer seems to be coming. The skies are blue.
Long may it continue.
Indeed. Are they blue in the world of the economy at the moment?
I think there are some positive signs. I think that we have always used the terminology of fragile recovery for 2 years now. And I think acknowledging that always, that little bit of caution, I think there are signs to show that quite clearly, for a number of reasons, there's an increase in spending power, whether there's a reduction in oil prices, whether there's continuing low inflation, low interest rates. I think there is confidence coming back to the market.
Yes.
And once consumer confidence comes back a little, people spend. I think, on the other hand, there's a realization that there are many people still in negative equity. And there's also a realization that if interest rates rise, and being realistic, they can't continue at that low level forever.
No.
That will put particular strong strain on many mortgages.
Yeah.
So I know my colleagues, they were quoted yesterday, the last couple of days in the Irish News, Gary Digney and Seamus Keaton, they have done a lot of work in developing solutions to try and solve the negative equity problem.
Tell people, just define negative equity for people.
Yeah, well, what negative equity means is, for example, let's say you bought a house at the peak of the market. Let's say you bought it for £150,000. And let's say, unfortunately, it's valued down to 80,000.
Wow. And you're still paying off
You're paying mortgage on 150.
Yeah.
The house is only worth 80. So actually, if you're only paying interest alone, then you have negative capital equity of £70,000. So you have a long time to ever go. The house ever goes back up to 150,000.
It comes into focus primarily if you want to sell the house. If you're going to live in the house and go nowhere else, it's not such a bad.
Not only sell the house, it comes into focus in terms of your entire form of living, because if you go to borrow money to do anything else, it has a major impact on you. So there are solutions, and now these things can be addressed. The financial institutions and the various lenders are willing to be spoken to. They normally require paying on both sides. There's various forms of solutions. Some is an IVA, an individual voluntary arrangement, which you must do with a licensed insolvency practitioner.
Is that an alternative to bankruptcy?
Well, I wouldn't say an alternative, but without doubt, it's one of the options instead of bankruptcy.
Yeah, I understand.
It would be it would be considered in the round of bankruptcy. The key point is you get certainty, you get closure, and you do an arrangement with your creditors that you'll pay them so much in the pound, and once they agree to that, subject to a full disclosure on your part and no fraud.
Yes.
That agreement is full and binding. And therefore a creditor can't come after you again. So once you sort whatever you agree to pay him, you can get on with life.
Does this tend to be a dilemma for business and big business rather than for the ordinary family?
No.
It's a mistake to think that.
Very much a mistake. Some of them, this is affecting all people in society. This is affecting the people who's bought the house at 70,000.
Yes.
60,000. It's affecting the business people. It's affecting the people who decided that they didn't want to put maybe money into a pension, rather stupidly in my view. But that's the reality. A lot of people did that and bought buy-to-let properties, etc. No. Make no mistake. My office, I can tell you, is dealing with a cross-section of cases on a very frequent basis. And there are no two the same.
Poverty comes into focus. I've noted during the week in Greece that the firefighters of a town close to Athens were going round with collection buckets to get contributions to allow them to put tyres on the trucks. The police have been going around in Greece collecting in order to provide the service. It's a mess in that country at the moment.
It is a mess, but maybe we all have to accept messes before we move forward. And none of us can live beyond our means. And you can't expect somebody else to fund you to live beyond your means.
But that's a lovely thought that you've always brought. It's the beauty in the mess, if you like. And the beauty in the mess is when you come out the other side of it, having put the pain in, you then breathe more freely.
Well, we all know this, that the sooner you lance the problem, whatever it is, because it's not going to go away, and deal with it and move on, the better.
The Southern Regional College talking this week, Brian, my friend Brian Doran, good morning Brian, talking about the value of apprenticeships. He's saying that the higher level apprenticeships in Northern Ireland are now on a par, an equality par with postgraduate degrees.
Well, it's like everything else. If you differentiate yourself in whatever field you're in, whether it be construction, engineering, trade, and you get to the top through education, through acknowledgement of best practice, through reading, through learning, you then create a premium for yourself and a value. And the market will then be more than willing to pay that for you.
Yeah, you make yourself employable. That's what it's about,
Correct.
Really, at the end of the day.
Differentiate yourself in the marketplace.
Yeah, and the ability to change as people go through life, to look at what they've got, where they've come from, where they're going, and to be realistic in identifying aspirations, ambitions, can lead to prosperity.
Yeah, well, one of the key things we've always said in our chats is that the key to success in business is adaptability. Adaptability to change, to changing circumstances.
That's for success. Russia, I see the news, not the news, the Irish news today. Russia trade sanctions costing jobs in Belfast. Are you seeing much of that on the panorama of our economy, that the sanctions are beginning to bite now?
Well, look, I think being realistic, we have companies here in this area exporting right around the world. And it will impact upon, it has to impact upon trade when we take these decisions. And that's why when we take them, we need to be careful. We have thought out all the precautions, I mean, on the implications. There's no doubt about it. For example, it has to be a significant factor in the Eurozone at present. The impact it had on the German economy in particular, some of those sanctions against Russia. So, yeah, look, it's like everything else. You can't go to the extremes. The balance is somewhere in between. And it's a matter of that holistic approach, in no matter what we do. You know, and I think that it's down to judgment. And it's very difficult to say what's right and what's wrong.
But you must make the judgment. You must call it and take a stand.
You're ultimately paying people. My view would be, in life, that I'd rather have the person who takes a decision and gets it wrong, and maybe corrects it later, than the person who can't take a decision.
It's huge wisdom in that.
You know, that's a personal view. My view is the law of diminishing returns. Yes, you must do research. You must try and get the information before you take a decision. But you must, at a point in time, judge, you know, have I assembled what is reasonable in the time scale that I had? Now I've got to take the judgment. And the person who made a mistake never got anywhere. Take the decision. And don't be afraid. If it's wrong later, just say it's wrong, go back and try and amend it or do something different.
It's the American way, that. That's what they do.
No,
they say in America, you're nobody until you've had a bankruptcy and then you build.
Well, to put that a different way, I've always held the view that intelligent failure must be allowed in a mature society. Yes,
indeed. Goodness gracious. Talking about intelligence failure, the Chinese are having a fair whack at the American government's cyberspace. They're trying to take them over and hacking them and all the rest of it. That's increasingly something we see in the world.
Yeah, look, all organizations are very conscious of the importance of information security. And there is no doubt about it. There are people who are motivated. I mean, I think, for example, the most hacked event was the Olympics in London. They didn't get through, thankfully, but the most efforts to try and cyber attack platform was the function of the Olympics.
It was a big one.
And if you think about that, what Egypt wanted to do that damage, you know, but unfortunately there are a lot of mavericks motivated to do this type of stuff.
Mad people. How are things, Nuri PLC, let's say? How are we looking? What's our state of health?
Well, I think Nuri PLC, in terms of progress report, continues to have encouraging signs and continues to, I think, acknowledge there are significant challenges ahead. And there would be something wrong if there weren't a combination of both those. I think it was very pleasing that Brian Conlon won the Belfast Feargal Business Personality of the Year. That's a big award. I notice a number of Nuri companies are involved in the Irish News, which are very prestigious workplace and employment awards next Wednesday evening. I'm conscious that on the other side you have a company like Autoline celebrating its 40th anniversary on Friday night and planning to give out £40,000 to local charities. Rosemary Connolly, Solicitors in Warren Point, celebrated her 20th anniversary last Friday.
My goodness, where does time go?
So, what I'd be conscious of is that we have young and old businesses. We have businesses that are progressing, and I think that one of the most pleasing things is we seem to have a very vibrant junior Chamber of Commerce and Business as well. So, I would be confident, but I wouldn't be stupid enough to suggest that all is rosy. It's not.
Indeed.
I think that the challenge for us all.
And there's a great. Let
me finish this point. It's really important. The challenge for us all is to understand and continue to understand that the market is now global, and that we have to devise methods by which we can we participate in that market. I think, for example, the Rug House is a phenomenal success.
They're all of
a great success company, and I think you're going to see online business growing and growing in its various forms.
It's the way. It's the way forward. And a doyen of optimism is our own another businessman of Newry, Thomas O'Gorman, with his special bursaries for entrepreneurship among the young.
And the science and involved in the science subject.
In the science park in Belfast.
Tom is a great character, and I think that his partnership with the Science Trust, Science Business Park Trust, is a very good one, very worthwhile. And I think that anything of that encourages creativity, that encourages entrepreneurship, should always be welcome. And I think Tom is a person who's not only talked about it, but he's done it.
Oh, he's done it. He's done it big time. And on the kind of recreational end of things, I note the Queen's Award for Voluntary Effort has gone to the Newry and Portadown branch of the Inland Waterways Association of Ireland.
Well, that's very close to your own heart, and I think at the end of the day, the key point here is that we're encouraging a culture of volunteerism, and there's nothing more rewarding. But a lot of people still are me.
But you see,
it's a big challenge we have as a society to encourage people to think a little bit less about me, and a little bit more about the broader community. Well,
the cockpit of that kind of voluntary philosophy is the thing that's close to your heart, the GAA.
Well, it's one example. It could be, for instance, the polo, it could be hockey, it could be anything. But I have a firm belief that it is important to volunteer. It is important to volunteer for something you enjoy. I think that not only is that important, I believe it greatly enhances your own personality. It greatly enhances your own values. And more important, as a young person, it greatly enhances your own personal development. Because if you can do it in that environment, you can then bring it back to a work environment. And I've always held the view, as you know, very first speech I ever gave, and I think it's as true today as ever, I chose the theme back in, I think, 1981. I don't care how much you know until I know how much you care. And I think that's a motto.
That's a huge motto.
It's a motto for life.
It is, of course, a motto for life. I said that we all make many mistakes. But if you care, you establish trust. Absolutely.
And if you establish trust, there's no limit to where that relationship ultimately can take you, whether it be in life or in business.
Feargal, the people coming through your doors at the moment, down at the mill, it's a busy accountancy practice. You're at the hub of commerce in our area. What are the big worries that are coming to your table, that people are enduring?
Well, I think if you look at the new millenniums, there's a number of characteristics. In your day, it was a job for life.
Oh, very much so.
That is not the perception.
You were frowned upon if you didn't.
To be honest, the perception is these people are very ambitious. The challenge for any business now, is to attract the brightest and the best. And that is very difficult, because once you attract them, you've got to hold on to them. And in order to hold on to them, you, for example, we do a survey now once a week, a pulse survey, independently monitored. I get back every week. I get a full of all the staff. They put into a computer. They're asked, "How are you feeling today? How is it today?" On 1 to 10, and they get that every week. And then there's a further opportunity. It's all done anonymously. that they can make a comment.
Yeah.
And it's amazing the trends, the insight you get in from those comments that you need to do something. I'm not a very good advocate for it, but we've gone quite significantly now into lifestyle. We had Health Matters in, for example, a couple of weeks ago. All our staff have all
That's Mary's people on Monaghan Street.
They've all done health checks.
Health Matters.
And today we have people in the office for an hour advising people on aerobics and advising people on diet. We have found that we just consider it as part of the equation because all we have is our people. So we've got
That's right. You've got to value
we've got
them.
to value, but it's a two-way process. But for example, we have always provided life insurance. We've always provided critical illness insurance. We've always provided income protections for all our staff. And we just think that's a must. And I think these, and for example, we also provide gym membership. I mean, people say, why do you do these things? Because I honestly believe it's not what you pay someone. It's how you value someone. And pay is important, but it's not the be and all. But I can tell you one sure thing, and I observe this across all businesses. One of the big challenges for business now is the quality of the people they attract and how they maintain them. Now, there's a challenge also out there for the individual.
Yes.
Because to be honest with you, that demands you also give your best. And if you're not giving your best, you move on. But if you move on a lot of times, and every time the employer's wrong, then perhaps you need to ask a few questions.
Absolutely.
So I've always held the view, business and life is all about people and relationships, and we get them wrong now and again, and we make mistakes. But the key is how we learn from those mistakes.
Go well. Take care.
Good luck.
Good to see you.
Thank you.